In ancient Rome, gladiators were celebrated for their strength, but also marginalized as social outcasts. Despite their fame, they were often compared to actors and those in the sex trade, considered to have little social standing. For more fascinating insights into history, be sure to subscribe to Eagle Discovery. The role of gladiators in Roman society. Gladiators held a unique and multifaceted role in ancient Rome, far beyond being mere fighters. They were central figures in Roman entertainment, yet their existence was far from glamorous. While many were slaves, prisoners of war, or criminals forced into gladiatorial combat, there was also a significant number of free men who volunteered to fight. These volunteers, known as auctorati, sought fame, fortune, and the allure of monetary rewards that could surpass the earnings of a typical Roman soldier. Gladiators who achieved fame, such as the renowned Spartacus, could even become iconic figures in Roman culture. Despite the public adoration they sometimes received, gladiators were often seen as lower-class figures within Roman society. Although their valor and courage were celebrated in the arena, their status remained as that of subordinates, alongside entertainers, prostitutes, and others engaged in public spectacles. The social hierarchy of ancient Rome was rigid, and gladiators, while enjoying fame in their specific context, were still viewed through the lens of their servitude or low status. The life of a gladiator was one of severe discipline and hardship. Many lived in ludi, the special gladiatorial schools, where they underwent extensive training in various fighting styles. These schools were harsh environments, designed to toughen the gladiators' bodies and prepare them for the brutal reality of the arena. Gladiators faced a constant threat of injury or death, as combat in the arena was often deadly, and even the most skilled fighters had a limited lifespan. Moreover, gladiatorial games, known as munera, were not just a form of entertainment, but a crucial element of political strategy. Roman emperors and wealthy elites organized these games to gain favor from the public, displaying their power, generosity, and connection to the people. The spectacle of gladiatorial combat became a tool for political manipulation, where leaders could solidify their status by offering grand displays of wealth and control. The relationship between the ruling class and gladiators was thus deeply intertwined with the politics of Roman society. The mystical allure of gladiator sweat and blood. The intrigue surrounding gladiators went beyond the bloodshed in the arena. In fact, certain aspects of their physicality were imbued with almost mystical significance in Roman culture. Gladiator sweat was considered to possess magical properties. This perspiration, often collected during or after a fight, was believed to have restorative powers and was marketed as a beauty treatment, particularly favored by women. It was thought that this sweat could rejuvenate the skin, enhance physical allure, and even act as a form of natural perfume. The belief in the healing powers of gladiator sweat reflects the complex relationship Romans had with these warriors. Their bodies were not only objects of strength, but also vessels of mystical energy. Similarly, gladiator blood was thought to hold potent curative properties. Some Romans believed that consuming gladiator blood could cure various illnesses, invigorate the body, and enhance virility. The idea of drinking gladiator blood was particularly prevalent among women, who sometimes included it in their wedding rituals. Consuming the blood was thought to bring fertility and ensure a long-lasting and prosperous marriage. This bizarre practice underscores the fascination with gladiators, who, despite their low status, were elevated to the status of almost mythical beings in certain segments of Roman society. Emperor Commodus, who ruled from 180 to 192 AD, embodied the fusion of imperial power and gladiatorial culture. His reign is infamous for his participation in gladiatorial combat, where he often fought against injured or disabled opponents. Commodus's deep connection with the gladiatorial world was not merely a display of power, but an indication of how intertwined gladiatorial culture was with Roman political life. It has even been suggested that Commodus believed himself to be the reincarnation of Hercules, another figure known for his association with physical strength and combat. In sum, the gladiators of ancient Rome were more than just entertainers. They were symbols of the empire's values, their lives and deaths intertwined with political power, social class, and even magical beliefs. The allure of gladiators, rooted in both their brutal reality and the mythical significance ascribed to them, played a key role in shaping the cultural and political landscape of Rome. A fascination with gladiator power, the Faustina story. Among the more intriguing and unusual tales in Roman history is the story of Faustina the Younger, the wife of Emperor Marcus Aurelius. According to some historical accounts, Faustina became infatuated with a gladiator after seeing him in a parade, or possibly during the gladiatorial games. Her fascination with the gladiator grew so intense that it eventually became a problem for the imperial family. In an attempt to resolve the situation, Emperor Marcus Aurelius sought the advice of oracles and soothsayers, who suggested that the only way to rid Faustina of her obsession was to execute the gladiator in front of her, presumably to sever the emotional attachment and bring an end to her obsession. This peculiar story highlights the powerful and often sexualized allure gladiators held in Roman society. Their strength, bravery, and presence in combat made them symbols of virility and masculinity, qualities that many found irresistible. In a culture that placed such a strong emphasis on physical prowess, power, and dominance, gladiators embodied these ideals to such an extent that they were often seen as the epitome of male attraction. The tale of Faustina and her obsession underscores the fascination with gladiatorial combat and the deep sexualization that often accompanied the physicality of these fighters. Their power was intoxicating, not just on the battlefield, but also in the realm of desire and physical attraction. Gladiators, bodyguards, and more. In addition to their roles in the arena, gladiators also served more practical purposes in Roman society, leveraging their combat skills and strength in private personal settings. Due to their extensive training and physical prowess, some gladiators were employed as bodyguards to protect elite citizens, including military leaders, political figures, and wealthy women. These gladiators offered not only physical protection, but also symbolic value, representing status, strength, and power to those they guarded. The appeal of gladiators went beyond their ability to protect. Their muscular physiques and reputation for bravery made them highly attractive to some Roman women, particularly those of high social standing. These women, captivated by the gladiators' strength, sometimes formed romantic or even sexual relationships with their protectors. The connection between the gladiators and these elite women further reveals the way in which gladiators occupied a unique place in Roman society, simultaneously revered for their strength, desired for their physicality, and viewed as a status symbol for the elite. This relationship between gladiators and wealthy Roman women also speaks to the complexity of social dynamics in ancient Rome. Gladiators, despite their low social status, were often elevated to an almost mythical status by the wealthy. They were not only figures of physical admiration, but also symbols of power, dominance, and beauty, qualities that transcended the boundaries of class. The sensualization of female gladiators. The presence of female gladiators, or gladiatresses, in ancient Rome provides a fascinating glimpse into the complex intersection of gender, violence, and sexuality in Roman society. While female gladiators were rare, and their participation in combat was officially banned by the Roman authorities around 200 BCE, records suggest that women continued to engage in gladiatorial contests during the imperial era. One notable instance occurred in 90 CE, when Emperor Domitian reportedly organized fights between female gladiators in the Colosseum. When female gladiators did appear in the arena, their portrayal was often heavily sexualized, reflecting the deeply patriarchal nature of Roman society. Women's roles were typically confined to the domestic sphere, but the gladiatorial games offered a rare opportunity for women to step outside these traditional boundaries and engage in physical combat. These women, however, were often depicted as exotic or decadent, with minimal clothing designed to emphasize their bodies and enhance the sensual spectacle of their appearances. Despite the sexualized nature of their portrayal, female gladiators were formidable warriors in their own right. They were trained in the same rigorous environments and fought with the same weapons as their male counterparts, demonstrating significant skill, courage, and physical strength. Their role in the arena, however, was complicated by their objectification in the public imagination, as they were both empowered by their physical prowess and exploited for their sexual appeal. The paradox of the female gladiator, empowered yet objectified, speaks to the contradictions in Roman society's views on gender, violence, and sexuality. These women, though celebrated for their bravery, were often reduced to symbols of sensuality in the eyes of the public. The presence of female gladiators in the arena, though rare, suggests that there was an underlying desire to challenge traditional gender norms, albeit within a highly sexualized and patriarchal context. The courage and skill of these women should not be overshadowed by their objectification, as they were true fighters whose legacy remains an intriguing aspect of Roman cultural history. Gladiators as escorts, sex, and combat. Gladiators, regardless of their free or enslaved status, were often seen as objects of both admiration and desire in Roman society. Their bodies, honed through rigorous training and combat, became symbols of strength and virility. This appeal extended beyond the Colosseum. Many gladiators were hired as escorts or companions for elite Roman women, particularly those of the senatorial class. These gladiators, known for their physical attractiveness and prowess, played dual roles as both warriors and lovers. Roman women, especially those from wealthy families, were often drawn to the idea of coupling with these fighters who represented strength, vitality, and adventure. In a society where women's sexual agency was limited, gladiators were an outlet for this unspoken desire. The appeal of gladiators went beyond their role as protectors or entertainers. They became highly sought-after objects of erotic fascination. For gladiators, these arrangements could be financially lucrative, as they received gifts and rewards from wealthy women in exchange for their companionship. Some historians have suggested that these relationships were mutually accepted, as gladiators, even though they were often slaves, could attain a form of wealth and status by participating in these sexualized roles. In essence, gladiators became both the stars of the arena and objects of romantic or erotic fantasies. According to Ovid, the gladiatorial games were the perfect place to meet women, as many attended these events. The combination of physical spectacle and the romantic atmosphere made it a prime location for love interests to blossom, further underlining the gladiators' status as both fighters and symbols of lust. Even Augustus attempted to reduce distractions at the games by moving women to the upper levels of the amphitheater, though the competitive and sensual nature of the events could not be easily curbed. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the fascinating world of ancient Rome and gladiators, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more historical insights. Let us know in the comments what other figures or time periods you'd like to learn about next.